I shouldn't have lost the Touring Car Championship last year in retrospect. I believe we didn't apply ourselves well enough for it. When it got to the long distance races, we didn't really have to change the tune of the car. We started off this year with a new Commodore, which was quite a brain-stretching sort of exercise, because it's so many variables and new things you're finding out about a car, because every type of car is different. But I think we probably have done our homework a little better than most, but a lot of it has been sheer hard work. We haven't been getting the big help from the factory that people say we have, but nevertheless I think that Bruce Nowacki particularly has done a magnificent job with really dedicated work on this particular car, just getting it better and better each time.
Well, even despite all the hard work that's gone in, you were a little bit surprised at the way the Commodore started so well?
Yes, I was really. I thought that the Chev Camaro would have given us much more trouble in the early rounds, and I hoped that what would possibly happen would be that we'd start off a little bit slow but get into gear as the races went on. What seems to be happening now is that they started off a little bit off the pace, and now they're catching us up, and I expect to have a really hard tussle in round 4 on Sunday.
What's the Commodore like to drive in comparison with the Tirana?
It's a lot more delicate car. I think that even as a road car, that the same feel still applies, that the Commodore's very precise. It's very quiet inside, not too many vibrations. It's a car that requires a bit of a deft touch to the hand, I think, because its cornering limits are so high. It's more like an open wheeler to drive. In fact, you've got to be quite clean and crisp with your driving style, that's for sure. And
you've started so well on the track this year, but you've had a bit of bad luck behind the scenes.
Yes, we have. Our transport has broken down every race meeting so far. The prime mover blew an engine going up to Queensland last weekend for round 3 of the championship. And then the Pantech caught fire at Narrabri coming home and virtually burnt out the whole thing. We've spent about 3 or 4 days cleaning this car up. In fact, we haven't quite finished yet. There's still a bit of soot and what have you around it. Very lucky to have a racing car. We've lost all our spares. Our springs, for instance, we had to put them in to test for the car, and that all collapsed with the heat and what have you. So we've got our problems, but we'll get there.
I feel that our car's performing well enough to be able to win. So is Brocky's, I suppose, but it's going to be one of those races again like it has been all year.
Sandown's a bit of a favourite at Peters. Has he got an advantage over other drivers here, do you think?
He's probably done more miles here than anyone else, which always helps. But I don't dislike the place. I think it's a ripper circuit and it suits my car quite well. I feel as though that our car will go just as well around here as probably his will.
There's some interesting new cars in Sunday's event. Do you think you'll be able to dominate as you have earlier in the season in the Touring Car Championship?
Yes, well, I don't think that's going to change much between Peter Brock and myself, but those guys will be lurking around and they'll be reasonably close, and close enough that if any stupid little thing happens to us, they're there. And the only problem that they have is, of course, is getting around the slower cars. And the problem to them is going to be the slower big cars, like the big V8s that are slower than Brock and myself. They'll have trouble getting around them.
Is that what makes the Hang 10 a bit of a special race?
Well, the Hang 10 is, for many years, is sort of drawn up to the lead-up race to Bathurst, and this is where everyone virtually puts all their Bathurst running gear in the car and runs it before the big race on October. But I think that probably this race will be one of the best you'll ever see.